Yes, and that's what going live is like. It's just like that. It's going live. Welcome to the show. Yeah, and all of that. All right, good. Welcome. You know the drill. Put a large capital Q with a colon. Follow that with your question and suffix the whole thing with a question mark. That means it's much easier for Ted to find the questions and bring them up on the screen in the appropriate fashion. Straight in with a super chat action. That's fantastic. Thank you, Juliet. Ted had a ball in Australia last weekend. Many of you got an opportunity to have a cuddle with Ted and to have a selfie with Ted. And Ted even took the opportunity to inveigle his way and grease his way in there with Dr. Anthony Chaffee. So he did. And yeah, that was absolute gold. So there it is. Ted had a ball. He was very happy to meet many of you, as was I, of course. And some of the commentary around Ted's little video appearance with Dr. Chaffee there was, look, an absolute living legend in the carnivore community. And that Dr. bloke isn't too bad either. So Ted was the star of the show, absolutely. His ego was completely out of control on Sunday, mind. That's what occurs when you give Ted too much leeway. Right, enough preamble.
Enough tedding.
Enough tedding. Let's have some super chat action.
Okie dokie. So super chats.
Yay.
Thank you, Juliet. Greetings from snowy Canton, Michigan, USA.
Hi. That was
good.
my very best Mr. Hanky the Christmas Pooh impersonation for those that didn't get it. Don't mind me. I'm a very disturbed little boy.
Yes.
Right. Who asked questions? No questions?
We can start with a question that
we get every
we have
fucking
every
week.
fucking week.
Yes. How much fat and protein would
However,
you...
it starts with a capital Q. Well done.
Yes.
If everyone does that, it's making my job a little bit easier.
Yes.
And you're more likely to get your question answered.
Yes.
So, how much fat and protein would you recommend for a 190 centimeter male currently weighing 83 kilos, 16% body fat?
Right. What we do is work out what your ideal mass should be, your fat-free mass. And the way we do that is we take your height in meters, which is 1.9, and we multiply that by itself. So 1.9 times 1.9 will give you whatever. Then you take that figure and you multiply that figure by the ideal BMI, which is 22.5. That will give you your ideal fat-free mass. And from that, you take 2 grams of protein per kilo of that. And the way to get the weight of meat for the appropriate amount of protein in that case is to multiply the end result by 4. Still.
Good.
Every week. Right?
Yes, you should do a short on that and refer to that every time we have this question.
Yes.
And apparently, where are the fucking questions?
Yes, indeed. Where are the fucking questions? Because we can finish early if there's no questions. We can say, fuck you very much. Thanks for coming.
42 watching. That's people have not shown up yet. That's probably why.
Yes, possibly because we had last week off and we had a few weeks off while we were moving, and it's been a bit hit and miss as to whether we're doing a live stream.
I think 2 weeks ago there were 250 whatever. So.
Yeah, but that was probably right after I banked the arse off Richard Burgess. So,
maybe.
Yeah, although his supporters claim that he absolutely destroyed me. Of course he did Richard Burgess.
Of course.
Well, on which point, I'm not sure, but anyway.
Right, so why do many report cortisol problems on carnivore? Is it not enough protein or fat?
If there is a protein problem on carnivore, it's, for most people, the more likely is eating too much protein and not enough fat. However, there are some people who are eating, the other way around. The way to work out your protein intakes is as per what I just described before still. And that's the way you should work it out. You should eat your protein first and then to satiety in fat. That said, what cortisol problems are you referring to? And how are they being diagnosed exactly? Because I'm not experiencing any cortisol problems akin to my diet. Perhaps to do with a bit of stress and moving here and buying this property and finding out how much work it's going to be to run it. And speaking of which, we are now, well, not we, her, not me. I've got nothing to do with it. Pim has the capability to make mozzarella cheese from goat milk. Our very own goat milk, our very own mozzarella cheese. So we're nearly at the point of self-sufficiency. Because what else do you want other than mozzarella cheese? Yes, just the cheese.
Cheese all day long.
Nothing else. What else could you possibly want? Nom, nom, nom. So we've got cheese, and I'm actually really enjoying raw goat's milk. It doesn't taste remotely goaty. People sort of said to me, no, it's going to be all goaty. No, it's lovely. Very nice. And I haven't dropped dead from drinking raw milk for the last week, nearly.
We had them since last Saturday, so yeah.
Well, I wasn't back until Monday, of course, because I was flying. Geez, my arms got tired.
Yes.
From all that flying.
Yes. Anyhow, I've been milking them for a week.
Yes. Milking goats. Lovely goats milk.
Okay,
yes.
then. So,
yes.
Question. Had some anal itching the last week.
Yep.
How do I know if it's from consuming too much rendered fat on top of a hemorrhoid explosive hemorrhoid sounds horrible.
Yes.
Or drinking raw milk in a few hours instead of throughout the day?
Well, I think you should probably put that in front of a proctologist. That's really not my area of expertise. One of the things I do know that can cause anal itching is being infected with worms. Are you sure it's not that? No. Either of those other things could well be to do with it as well. Hemorrhoids are actually very, very common. Like 1 in 3 adults over the age of 30 apparently will experience.
Well, if they're explosive and they actually have exploded and they're healing.
Yeah, that could be itchy.
That would be itching, surely.
All right, that sounds like no fun at all. Yeah, I'd get a professional proctologist's opinion on that, probably.
I doubt it has anything to do with drinking all the milk in one go.
No, and I don't think fat would cause anal itching.
Doesn't make any sense.
No. Right, there you go. There's our take on that. Very good.
Yes.
What do you say, Snoozy? Do you get anal itching? You shit-eating shit-eater? She's loving it here on the farm because there's shit everywhere for her to go, nom, nom, goat shit. And
unripe fruit.
Yes, and unripe fruit that's fallen off the trees. And
cow shit.
Yeah. Ugh. Lovely. What else do you want, Snoozy?
Shit, goat shit.
Yep.
Right, and duck shit.
Yes.
Hey, I'm doing a full body split 3 times a week with an 8 rep max every other day. I've recently started doing deadlifts, but my grip gives out before anything else. Should I add grip exercises?
Yes, I would. Absolutely. I'll tell you what, a really good one is dead bar hanging. That'll strengthen up your wrists. Also, you can do wrist curls, both reverse and natural. I'm not really one for using straps unless you're really deadlifting a lot of weight. Those are your options, I would say. Work on your wrist strength, your grip strength, absolutely. And using straps is kind of counterintuitive to that, so I wouldn't do that. Unless you're kind of up around the...
You can do it temporarily while you're working on your grip strength separately, as long as you do it. Yeah,
absolutely. But I mean, for me, straps would only really come in once you're deadlifting more than about 300, I would suggest. Oh, Snoozy, it's terrible, isn't it?
So when there wasn't the hemorrhoids that were explosive, it was the shits that were explosive.
Right. Yes, that can happen. If you eat too much rendered fat, you can absolutely get explosive diarrhea, yes. Cool. Where
were we?
I don't know. Make it up. It's all good.
What do you want?
You want constant attention and love.
She's fucking around.
She fucked around too much. She always fuck around.
Is oxidation in eggs and other foods a problem?
Not usually.
Right.
No. The most problem with oxidation you're going to get is with industrial seed oils. Those kinds of things are the most things that are going to go rancid on you. Mostly. Mostly.
Yes. All right. Can we get this up now?
Go on then.
I usually drink a mixed blend of lard and beef that I blended in the morning after sun gazing early in the morning for 30 minutes, like Huberman recommends. Is this good for health?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Drink lard and beef. Do you drink melted fat in the morning?
That sounds. I'm not sure about the sun gazing. If you mean staring directly at the sun, that's not a good thing. If you mean looking to the side of the sun, there are people on both sides of that argument. Yes.
What nutrition brainwashing, I know the term is cringe, do you think will be undone first? Cholesterol?
I think probably the first thing that crumbles, and it really has started to crumble very badly, if it's not already totally crumbled, is the idea that we require any amount of carbohydrates. I think the cholesterol thing will hang on much longer. Personally.
Yeah, I think that one's going to hang on because someone's making a lot of money.
That's right.
That.
There's money behind it. Money, money, money.
Like
Isn't funny. Not thinking. It's a lovely sunny day here in PimBartia, by the way. It's awesome.
Paul Mason and others not as intelligent as him keep talking about insulin as the fat storage obesity hormone. Please assure me that it's not a claim to take seriously.
I wouldn't personally take that particular claim seriously. I think that's
fidgeting.
an oversimplification. I think it's overly parsimonious to describe insulin in that way. Insulin is multifactorial, multimodal in what it does in the human body. And to make it out to be some kind of boogeyman that's only involved in fat storage and obesity is just simply incorrect. Completely incorrect. I must have a word to Paul about that at some point. Hello, Paul, if you're watching. We need to talk again. It's been too long. It's been several years since I did an interview with Paul Mason. Paul's a good bloke.
So Juliet posted again, same question, but she hasn't finished. The cholesterol, heart disease, bullshit, calories in, calories out, nonsense. Sorry for posting twice. I've said it before I was done writing last time.
No worries at all. Okay, out of those, I think the cholesterol one is likely to fold up before SECO. Out of those two, calories in, calories out will hang on because people ignorantly, erroneously believe it to be based in first principles, i.e. the first law of thermodynamics, which it isn't, actually. Whereas the cholesterol thing is based in a theory, the lipid hypothesis, and it's probably more easy to show people how it's false than to show them how calories in, calories out is false for most people. Don't know. Good question.
Good question.
That's what we like here, searching questions.
All right, let's search for another question then. Let's see what this is. Hi Bart, great fan of yours from Italy. What is your explanation about hypercholesterolemia? I know cholesterol isn't a problem in terms of cardiovascular health.
Hypercholesterolemia is a medical term which is made up. It's based on a threshold decision on taking a measurement of, well, taking a sample of somebody's blood, measuring the cholesterol in their blood and deciding arbitrarily that that level of cholesterol is high or super high or moderately high or whatever, without any evidence whatsoever that that's actually problematic. So basically it's making a perfectly normal physiological parameter somehow into a pathology that they can then treat with a drug and make millions of dollars and billions and trillions of dollars out of. It's criminal, it's wrong, it's nonsense, and it's not based in science. There you go. Your level of cholesterol basically is under the control of your genes. And your genes are the pinnacle of evolution. Your genes have survived something like at least 3.8 thousand million years, and probably a lot longer than that, it seems, actually.
Very nice.
Yes.
So, you're tolerating raw milk. Cool, it's great.
Yes, and it's very interesting. Well, there are two things. Number one, I've always had lactose intolerance, so-called. However, I've never had raw milk from any animal before. Also, this is goat milk and not cow's milk, and I've only ever been intolerant to the lactose, so-called, in cow's milk.
As far as you know. Anyway.
As far as I know. Yeah. So I don't know which it is, but either it's the raw nature of it or it's because it's not a cow and it's a slightly different sort of milk. I don't know, but I'm not reacting badly to it at all. In fact, I'm loving it. It's awesome.
Yes.
Should we tell them about what we noted in terms of our milking cows' drinking habits?
Milking cows drink. Oh, milking goats, you mean?
Yes, not cows, goats, sorry.
Yeah. You can tell.
Yeah. Well, our milking goat decided to get around behind one of the other goats, her sister. Actually.
Her daughter.
Daughter, was it? Yes, of course. And decided to drink her stream of urine. She's a piss drinker. But the milk didn't taste of urine, so I guess.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
So
I'm sure goat urine in many cultures is seen as a magic potion, probably.
Yes.
So
maybe.
she just figured it. Of all theories regarding why HbA1c tends to rise on carnivore, which one do you think is the most credible and why?
Well, many of the ideas that are thrown around have some degree of credibility. There is an initial indication from a study, which I'd have to go and look up again because I just read it and went, oh, that's interesting, and didn't actually record it. So I'll have to find it again. But there is a study that suggests that the theory that red blood cells live longer in carnivores does seem to have some credibility, absolutely. Secondly, I think that the homeostatic set point on a person's blood glucose does drift up on carnivore. And I think that that is not a pathology at all. Because when you take someone on a standard diet whose blood glucose does this, and you say, well, 6 point whatever, 5.7 to 6, depending what country, and that's diabetic. Well, that's only true if you have these high spikes and low troughs. The average is still 6 point something, but it's not the 6 point something that's doing the damage. That's just the signal. The damage is being done up here at 11, 12, 13, 14. So if you've got 6 point something, flatline, there's no evidence anywhere in the literature that that is at all a pathology or problematic. So there it is.
So stop spiking.
Yes, it's the spikes you need to avoid, not the level of around 6. 5.7 to 6 wouldn't, on a carnivore, would not confront me at all, would not concern me remotely. And yet that person would be categorized by the medical profession as diabetic based on their A1C. If, however, a CGM was used to monitor that person's blood glucose over time, the physician would see basically a flat line and ergo should therefore go, well, therefore I'm not concerned. However, most physicians don't think. They just react to what's in front of them. 6.0, you're diabetic, we need to intervene. Nonsense.
Because they assume that everyone eats the same way.
Right, even if they're told that that's not the case, they will still say, well, the book says, the doctrine that I have read says, at an A1C of 6, you're diabetic.
Sucks.
Or Sikhs.
Or Sikhs.
Sikhs in Australia. Right.
Righto.
Good.
When are you going to be very muscular and ripped so that I can begin trusting you in human physiology?
Yes, I'm working on that 410-pound bench press. Not. When am I going to be muscular? About 35 years ago. That's when. These days, I'm not concerned about over muscularity or being ripped or keeping my body fat to any sort of set percentage. I'm concerned with what's likely and most conduced to long-term health, well-being, and happiness. So here's what we do. We eat carnivore and goat berry, which is still carnivore, of course. And we live in our own sovereign nation, the farm of PimBartia. And we keep to ourselves pretty much, except we're going and doing conferences in Adelaide and a game of cricket every Saturday for me in the summer. We enjoy our animals. We make friends with them.
They don't necessarily make friends with us, though.
Not yet. Well, the cows are a bit skittish still, but the goats are very.
And most of the sheep.
And most of the sheep will like come and have a nibble on Pim's pants.
No, that's just one. So most of the sheep are skittish as fuck.
Yeah.
Not very trusting animals.
Yeah, but no, this is a dream come true, really, in terms of what I've always wanted to do. I'm now a primary producer. It's always made sense to me to be a primary producer. But I'm also still a secondary producer, I guess, in that we are still marketing the fine range of products from Cerule. And you'll note at the right hand of the screen there that for those of you in the Australian and New Zealand markets only, just for now that is, there is an availability for a pre-order of Hardcore Carnivore Stem Enhance. The story behind that is I've been working for about 18 months quite intently with the the owners of the cereal company. And I've always said, look, the product is fantastic. The product is great. The product does exactly what it claims it does. However, it's being presented to my customers in a cellulose capsule, which some of them are not happy about. And the flow agent used to encapsulate it is a inert rice starch, which some carnivores are getting upset about. So what say you give us a bovine capsule and remove that rice starch in favor of, well, silica is what they're using now instead. Everything else in there is perfectly kosher in terms of carnivore. And as such, we now have hardcore carnivore stem enhance, pretty much. When this does sell well, it will go international and it will be available in other markets. But only a few Australians and New Zealanders get in there and order it and say, yes, we want it, really. And when that happens, we'll get Cyactive, which will be the same deal. We'll get a bovine capsule and some silica instead of rice starch. And then we'll probably get Plasma Flow after that, which will be the same deal again. But also all the plant materials that are in the Plasma Flow will go, because I don't think any of them are necessary at all. So that's going to be awesome. And the fourth product we're looking at doing is the collagen. And the collagen is a product that I have hitherto been unable to particularly promote at all, because it contains either a sweetening agent or sugar or both, depending which market you're in, and also a food coloring agent. So I've said to the company, well, that's got to go, along with the cordyceps and other things that are in that as well, which are completely unnecessary. And the vitamin C, we'll have that out of there too, thanks. Just the collagen peptides, thanks. And they've said, okay, you're the king of the carnivores. Make it so for you and your people. So we need to get behind it, basically. And the way we do that in New Zealand and Australia is we order up Stem Enhance Hardcore Carnivore. It'll be fulfilled in about the middle of December, I'm told.
Yay.
Yay. It's currently being put in capsules in Christchurch. And then it will be flown to Auckland, and then it will go out from Auckland to wherever you may be in Australasia.
Nice.
Yes, very nice indeed. So but that's very, very exciting that the company is taking us that seriously and doing this for us. So we need to support it. Good. Yes. Carry on.
For sure. And I guess this was follow-up from something else.
Yes.
And why are you so sure about the fact that lipoprotein A is not a strong marker of cardiovascular health?
Because I understand statistics, statistical inference, and research methodology, all of which lead me to the inescapable conclusion that A, no association, no matter how strong, can inform on cause nor effect. And B, the association that does exist between aspects of the lipoproteins and heart disease is so poor that it's laughable anyway. Basically, that's why I'm so sure, because I actually understand the science.
You are the science.
I am the science. Trust me, I'm safe and effective. And if you don't trust me, trust Ted. He's also safe and effective.
Good.
Very, very effective at winning the affections of one Anthony Chafee. Delightful moment that was. I'm not going to milk it at all.
All right. Bart and Pim get Streamlab donation account. YouTube takes a crazy high fee. Just say it.
Yes, we're aware of that. Thank you, Gunku. It's one of the things that we may do at some point. I've only just started using StreamYard again. And, you know, maybe we go through Streamlabs for OBS. I'm actually using the other version of OBS, not the Streamlabs version, and I've only just started using the StreamYard software again because it didn't work very well the first time we tried to use OBS directly at this address, probably because of the way that the internet is set up here, i.e. we have satellite only and there's no other connection to this property in terms of interwebs.
Okay then.
Excuse me.
Have you noticed any stiffness go away on raw milk? For me, my wrists just feel more flexible, barely any cracking. Not sure if that's how to describe it.
I haven't noticed anything of that like yet, because I'm actually still quite stiff and sore from suddenly going from sitting on my ass most of the week for about 5 years to suddenly splitting my week in half and doing 3 days a week of actually quite hard yakka for 8 to 12 hours. and then a game of cricket on Saturday, which was yesterday my time. And so today I'm actually as stiff as a honeymoon prick, which is quite normal, I think.
What is a honeymoon prick?
A penis at a honeymoon.
Oh, I see.
A penis.
I got it.
Yes, as stiff as a honeymoon prick.
I see.
Yes.
Jesus.
Have you not heard that word before? Prick is another word for penis.
Yes,
yeah, okay.
but I didn't.
Right.
I thought it was a saying you just made shit up.
I never just make shit up. I'm the science, safe and effective. I never make things up. Trust me, even though not trusting the science is exactly how you do science. Anything you can't question isn't science. It's theology. Yes.
I like to order from Frankie's free-range meats and recently noticed the meat and recently the usually red meat comes in a more grayish, less fresh state. Is this still edible or oxidated and bad?
I wouldn't buy anything from Frankie. None of his bullshit. I wouldn't buy that. Certainly I wouldn't buy products from Frankie as long as my ass points to the ground. But you do you. And if meat is not looking and feeling and smelling fresh, then I probably wouldn't.
Gray isn't necessarily bad. Gray, if it's oxidated, the way that they get meat to stay red is not natural. So I wouldn't worry too much about the gray color, to be fair. It might just mean that it's actually not treated with bullshit.
Yes.
Apparently, I am a Texel warrior woman.
Yes. You're a shield maiden of the Texels.
I get nubbled by Texels.
Yes. Don't nubble on me.
Bart is the legend.
Yes, the man, the legend. Yes.
Righto. Have we got any numbers as to how much fat is used for gluconeogenesis? If so, it would be great to set it as a minimum requirement.
Well, at the end of the day, the substrate that is pouring through gluconeogenesis is really dependent on the situation at that time in terms of what substrates are about. The substrates that are generally used for gluconeogenesis are glycerol, actually, which is the backbone of fatty acids, but not the fatty acids themselves. So it's glycerol. And monocarboxylates, such as lactate, would be the prime example of that. And one or two of the amino acids can go through a deamination process, thus leading directly into gluconeogenesis as well. So it really depends what's on hand and what the needs are as to what the body will do to solve that problem. It's quite clever as the body.
Okay.
So
this one, put a capital Q in front of your questions.
Yes.
Thank you very much for saying that again. There have been quite a lot of questions without capital Qs. I have caught them though.
Yes.
Because they're not an overflow of questions today so far. Well, I do have a queue here, so just wait until I get to your question.
While we're thinking about it, give us a shout out if you were present in Adelaide last weekend and saw what went off there, and give us a comment about how enjoyable it was or otherwise.
Yes, Daisy was. Hi Bart, it was great to see you in person and giving Ted a cuddle at the Adelaide Carnivore conference.
Nice.
I will be getting some of Stem Enhanced to give it a go. Love watching your new farm setup.
Cool. Hey, also, thank you very much, Daisy. I appreciate that very much. And it was really nice to meet you as well, along with I think it was about 100 people. During the lunch break, what happened is most of the speakers went upstairs to a private room to have their lunch up there. And I decided, no, that's nuts. I'm not going to do that. So I came downstairs to the auditorium where everyone was milling about, made myself available just to see who wanted to come and have a chat or whatever, thinking that maybe a few people would come up. And it was just a line. It was a stream of people for an hour taking selfies, and Ted was the star of the show, of course. Of course he was. So that was really awesome. And anyone that did get selfies with Ted should probably send them to me on my email address so that I can do a highlights of Ted's trip video, including that video of him having a cuddle with Anthony Chafee. So cute. Yes. Cool. And, oh, yes, I was also going to say about the farm setup thing. I'm putting a whole bunch of kind of short videos up on my IG about the farm and stuff. If people want to follow that, my IG address is Bart_KAY_nutrition. You'll find all that stuff there.
Okay,
Thank you for your opinion there, Biggs, about the consumption of milk. The thing
I
about
haven't got them up yet.
yeah, well,
So,
okay.
can we take that later?
Okay, we'll deal with it later.
It?
We'll deal with it later. I thought you'd probably ignore that one. But that's okay. You can not ignore it.
Start them.
Okay, I see what you're doing. My bad. You carry on, Your Majesty, Queen of Pirates.
Right, I like to order. Well, we have had that one.
Yes, we have. Blah.
And that.
Yes.
Why are they not unstart?
I don't know, because you didn't do it.
And that one.
Yeah.
Okay, this one then.
Right, Roger.
Hearing that a genetic mutation allowing for an overabundance of PCSK9 could contribute to high triglycerides. If so, could lowering fat intake lead to lowering triglycerides?
Okay, why do you want to lower your triglycerides? Triglycerides are not a valid marker of cardiovascular risk either. So, there you go. Why do I say that? Well, because of that N equals 380-something thousand study of patients who have had an MI in the last 24 hours, who had their HDL, LDL, and triglycerides measured, and all of them came back as normal distribution curves, bell-shaped curves. None of them are dose-response relations to heart attack. Ergo, causality is eliminated right there as a possibility.
Good.
Yeah.
Is it possible to lose muscle mass while the strength remains equal or higher, or is strength and muscle mass always related?
No, it is absolutely possible, because it's about not only the amount of working muscle tissue you have, but also about how good your neural programs are for innovating, for getting those muscles working together in a way to produce the most strength. Also, hormonal things like, whoops, child is trapped under a heavy something, and you throw the heavy something off, and it's a weight that you could never lift without that kind of adrenaline response. So yes, there are a lot of things that play into muscle strength, absolutely, not just size.
Rightio. I have Raynaud's disease. My fingers and toes go numb and turn white in the cold. I follow a carnivore diet. Do you think there's anything I should be concerned about?
Well, concerned? I mean, you know what the diagnosis is, you know what to do about it, including, I would suggest, 5 health hacks. Carnivore diet is the first of the 5. The 4 others that you need to follow, in my estimation, is found on a short video on my channel called 5 Health Hacks That You Need to Know About, whereupon the thumbnail, I'm doing that so that you can tell there's 5. And also so that you can see the palm of my hand, thus making me much more trustworthy, I'm told. Although trust has got nothing to do with it, because you see, I am the science, safe and effective, and should never be questioned. And if you do question it, it's hate speech. Invisible penis. Invisible penis. Invisible penis. No singing. Right, carry on. Silliness.
Were you done?
Never done.
Okay, so
yes.
Show then. Are bubbles in urine on a carnivore diet a concern?
Well, there's several things that can cause bubbly urine. One of them is an overplus of protein. That's not that likely. The most common cause is probably oxalate dumping, actually. Okay, anything else?
Not that I can think of.
I mean, there are other reasons why your urine might become bubbly, but they're very, very uncommon.
Right. Do you think it's worth getting a consult from you for my stepdad? He has calciphylaxis, laxis, amongst a plethora of other things. Lost his legs and is on dialysis. Any chance you could help?
There's every chance, without being able to guarantee anything for anybody, of course. The most important thing, as far as I'm concerned, with people who do want to consult with me, is that they want to consult with me for their own ends.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy to consult with your stepdad, but he would have to want that. Otherwise,
It's pointless for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Yes.
Why is raw milk better? What's destroyed in no raw milk, and is it bad to drink no raw?
Well, when you pasteurize milk, basically the idea of the pasteurization is to kill everything in the milk that is alive, bacteria-wise and whatever else. And It's supposed to sterilize the milk, basically, to make it safe, because you see bacteria are our enemies somehow. Is raw milk better? I don't know. I'm not convinced. What I do know is that raw goat's milk has been fine for me for about a week. I haven't reacted badly to it. I'm enjoying it. Long may it continue. That's all I can tell you on that. There are people who swear by raw dairy and say it's changed their lives and they wouldn't go without it. Well, good for them. If it's not broken, don't fix it. There are others who say, no, that's dangerous and you should never do that. And I think that's just ignorant.
That's a scheme. Probably.
It is. It's ignorant.
Yeah. To control the market. That's
it.
Yeah.
Control the market. Control the people. The sheeple. The sheep people.
Maybe the tolerating of dairy is contributed to consuming cereal products.
Possibly. Absolutely possible. Yeah.
Have you ever had aspic meat jelly? Delicious.
Yes, I have. It's nice.
I don't think I have.
Okay.
Just bought my first cereal stem enhanced and turns out it contains spirulina. I remember you spoke against consuming it. Isn't it detrimental because they are full of heavy metals? Why are they adding it?
Okay, so first of all, Stem Enhance Ultra does not contain spirulina. Not at all. The product that does contain an extract from spirulina is Cyactive. Okay. I wouldn't consume whole spirulina. No, I've said that before and I'll say it again. Whole dried spirulina, heavy metals are a potential problem. And also, depending on the source of the spirulina, there can be other things that sneak in that are not properly filtered out and cleared away. Various other forms of cyanobacter that do have hepatotoxins and neurotoxins and things in them. The cereal product is filtered in a proprietary fashion to remove all of those problems. And the Cyactive pigment, the bright blue pigment, Cyactive, comes from spirulina, but is not itself whole spirulina. Okay? I hope that's cleared that up. So, yes, you're quite right. I have said I wouldn't eat spirulina, and I still wouldn't. Neither would I eat whole dried AFA from the lake that's not filtered and treated the way the company that produces the cereal raw ingredient for the cereal company does, because it's the only company with that proprietary technology. And there are companies selling dried AFA out of the lake as if it's the same stuff. No.
Okay, then.
Yes. Cool.
Are there any particular stretch exercises that you would recommend after an exercise?
No, that's very much individual on a needs of that individual basis based on what it is they're trying to achieve. And that would be if I recommend so-called stretching or range of motion training at all. Very individual.
What's the purpose of the stretching?
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah. If you think that it's going to lessen the soreness the day after, I can tell you that it doesn't work at all. If it is to increase your range of motion, you are better off actually doing exercise that will push you into that range of motion.
Yeah,
that works a lot better.
Yes, dynamically. And also, the required range of motion, well, what is it in your case for what you want to achieve? Because that's individual too. Yes.
Next, can someone who only has 1 weak kidney go carnivore?
Yes, they can, absolutely.
Yes.
There's no reason why they shouldn't.
Are tomatoes, avocados, or peppers less damaging as they are fruits with low amount of fructose?
Possibly. Depends. Okay, that's quite individual.
Tomatoes and peppers are nightshades, and
Yes.
many people are kind of sensitive to those.
Yes.
So depends on who you are.
Indeed.
My significant other likes to make fermented fungi during mushroom season. Would once a weekly consumption of this be harmful to my health?
No idea, Gil. No idea at all.
I can't see why it would be.
Depends what mushroom it is and all of that. Cool.
So, 3 in 1 here.
Right, yeah.
Milk will bloat you. It's horrible.
Nonsense.
Milk is made for babies.
Yes.
And Humans should not consume another species' milk.
Nonsense. So 1 out of 3. Yes, milk was originally designed by nature for babies of that species. Absolutely. There is no reason why you shouldn't consume dairy in the right amount, so long as you individually don't react poorly to it. And if you individually experience bloating, then you should not drink milk. But to make a generalized statement that nobody should drink milk is utter fucking nonsense.
I don't get bloated from it, but I don't like it. So I don't drink it.
Fair play.
Just don't like the taste.
Good. Vadnasta.
However, I do like mozzarella, so...
Yes.
Yeah.
Mozzarella, cheese. No singing.
May low vitamin C intake limit collagen production?
Yes, under certain circumstances. However, the amount of vitamin C required by people on a carnivore diet to maintain full collagen synthesis capacities is remarkably low, like nanograms per deciliter of blood, like almost none. So that's why carnivores are not dropping dead left, right, and centre from scurvy.
Good-o.
Because it's not a problem.
Blah. Have you noticed in the keto carnivore space this deep cognitive dissonance that surrounds people like Dr. Berry confusing being able to tolerate a food and it causing bad down the road outcome?
I've noticed all sorts of cognitive dissonance, both in this community and out with this community. I don't think Dr. Berry is particularly confused about anything, if that's what you mean. He's pretty much got his head screwed on most things. And yes, I do agree with the sentiment that being able to tolerate something doesn't mean you should have it.
Yes.
But I don't think that Dr. Berry says any such thing, personally.
There's optimal, and then there is whatever you want to do that doesn't cause you immediate harm. Doesn't mean you should do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like people have a drink every now and then, or eat an ice cream once a year, or whatever. Like, it's not going to fucking kill you, and it's probably not going to harm you if you tolerate it.
Yes. Very nice.
Will it decrease your life expectancy? Probably not if you do it once a year.
Now we have 168 viewers.
See?
Everybody's woken up. Hello.
We also
Welcome.
have questions.
Questions.
In the queue.
Any questions?
WebMD posted about a fish oil study. Fish oil supplements now linked to atrial fibrillation.
Yes, indeed. We've known about that for a while. In fact, Pim and I wrote a study a few years back that was published in the journal Nutrition. And part of the introduction to that study noted that one of the things that has been linked with fish oil for some time potentially has been those kind of issues. So, yes, that's no surprise to us. And good to see you, Coach Roxana. And we should do another collaboration soon on some topic or another. Have your people call my people. These are my people. Hello, Roxana.
Okay.
Right. Yes.
I had a triple bypass last week and have gone carnivore. Is this my best decision?
Yes, and there are 4 other life hacks that you should impose on your life from this point forward for the rest of your life too. There's 5 of them in the video that I was talking about earlier. 5 health hacks that you need to know about. Look that up on my channel and watch that and do all 5. Not 4, not 3, not 2.5, not 4.5. All 5 every fucking day / week.
Right, so we have 2 questions from 2 different people that are pretty much the same.
Let's hear
so
them.
I'll read both. Why do carbs seem to produce oversized muscles? And then why do muscles look more full when eating carbs if the body is refilling glycogen without carbs anyway?
I don't think that's really a thing necessarily. I really don't. I don't know why people think that that's a thing. What do you think?
I do think it's a thing because carbs, pretty much 1 gram of glycogen holds on to almost 4 grams of water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the glycogen is refilling, but if you compare a carb loading with what you're going to refill your glycogen stores with meat, that's going to take a very long time and you're going to use it, so you're not going to get the same effect anyway.
So you're talking super overcompensation sort of responses.
Because I think a normal person won't get any significant filling of the muscles by eating potatoes or whatever.
Yeah. What I can say is that any implumpment of the muscles, is that a word? Implumpment?
It is now.
It is now, because I just said so, and I'm the science, safe and effective. Any of that, I would suggest, is definitely down to water and nothing else. And, you know, okay, if that's because of the water storage with glycogen, fine. Do you need that for performance or health reasons? Nope.
Okay, then.
Good.
Would you say that eating 100% ruminant fatty meat on a carnivore diet leads to the best results, or do you think some people do better with a mix of other carnivore foods?
Quite individual as to who finds their sweet spot where. I can't give you an overall trend because I just don't think there is one. I think, you know, there are many ways to skin a cat and there are many ways to do carnivore.
I mean, 100%, 90, 80, whatever. I don't think it's going to matter a lot unless there's something with the other sources of food that you don't do well with.
Yeah, like dairy. If dairy's no good for you, then stay off it.
I think it's a bit individual. Any comments on 3-nitrooxypropanol in the Bovie cattle feed additive?
Nope. No comments on that.
No comments.
Yes.
We know fuck all about such things.
I tell you what, we feed our cows: grass, and more grass. And the things that also grow along with the grass in our overly grassed property. We have grass up to our necks and a lot of it still.
They ate some thistles.
Good on them.
Good. We need more
lovely
thistle-eating cows.
Yes, we do.
That were growing under the trees. Probably in the way for their sleeping spot.
Yeah.
In terms of taste, what is or was your favorite junk food that is sweet?
I've always been quite partial to like a sugary drink of some kind. I don't do that hardly ever these days, but I remember as both a kid and as a young man before I knew better, I was doing quite a lot of that. If we're limiting it to sweet things rather than savory things.
Yeah, you're more of a savory.
Yeah, I like savory things. Sugar I do like, but it's, I mean, I'm not.
Jaffa cakes? I'm just guessing.
Okay.
I don't even like them.
Don't know. I just don't even think about that kind of stuff really anymore. Cool.
Okay. Can you go into some detail on what you ate on your Carnivore Prime? And when I do it, can I do a dry fast right after it? Love you guys.
Yeah, it was 3 meals a day of 750 grams or so of beef steak, with associated fat and additional butter.
Well, you couldn't do it in the morning.
I really struggled. I could do it, but I usually had to actually have 2 or 3 bites at the breakfast of the 3 meals.
So let me tell you what he ate, because I was the one cooking.
There you go.
You did find fish easier to eat in the morning. So
yes,
we did cook some fish in the morning. We tried beef.
It was too much, wasn't it?
Yeah, you couldn't do it. I could do that.
Yeah.
You did have Greek yogurt. And then for dinner it was beef pretty much every day, I think.
Yeah. With yet more yogurt and additional butter and, you know, to get the so-called heat units up.
Probably have been some lamb in there as well.
Yes, we did have lamb. I love lamb.
But that was pretty much it. I don't even think you had egg. Yeah, well, you did. No, I can't remember if you did it on the priming or not.
I didn't have many eggs because eggs is one of those things that I seem to have a limit to before I start reacting to them.
Yeah, I think I boiled them and put them in the fridge for you, but I can't remember. You'd probably try them and decide if you could do it.
Yeah. Okay, good.
So
that's what it was, pretty much. Yeah. And yes, you can dry fast straight after priming if you want to. Yes.
Yeah. I'll see why not. Should be in a pretty good state to do that. However, if you are priming because you're trying to heal some sort of under-eating problem that have fucked your metabolism up, I wouldn't go straight into fast after that.
Is that a technical term?
Yeah.
Fucked up? Yes, I thought so.
Yeah.
Good. That's the official word from Majesty Pim, Queen of Pirates.
Is alcohol deuterium depleted? If so, is beer with the alcohol taken out deuterium depleted?
I've got no idea. Harry, are you here?
It's not deuterium depleted.
I
Why
doubt
would it be?
but no, I've got no idea. Harry, are you here?
The process of depleting deuterium is, very costly. Wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So no.
I mean, yes, there's no place in the human diet for beer. I know, wash my mouth out, but there just isn't. But I'm quite happy to drink a beer after cricket once a week, or 3.
And wine?
And wine after that when I got home. I had 1 or 2 glasses of red wine last night? Something like that?
At least 2.
Yep. No, it wasn't at least 2. 2 was it wasn't more than 2.
I didn't see more than 2.
No.
But
I knew it was 1 or 2. I couldn't remember which. So it was 2. Fuck off, I'm having 2.
Right. I have degenerative disc disease.
Disease, I suppose.
Disease.
Yeah.
What would be good to consume for bone regeneration and exercise?
Okay, so a carnivore diet, 100% carnivore diet based in the ruminant meats and associated fat, plus or minus dairy, plus or minus eggs, basically is the ideal diet. And there are 4 other things that you should do, which you'll find in that video called 5 Health Hacks that you need to know about. And you should do all 5. All of them. Every fucking day. That is a technical term. Yes. Vad nästa? Min fin.
The next is if daily calcium loss is approximately 1,000 milligrams, how do carnivores not have calcium deficiency considering the low calcium content of meat?
Okay, so number 1, who told you that the calcium loss is approximately 1,000 milligrams? And you've answered your own question there, because we're not all falling in a pile with our bones dissolving, are we? Unlike the vegans who do things like step out of the shower and break their foot by putting it down on the floor, don't they? Joel Kahn. And then claim it was some other form of injury that caused that. No, it wasn't. Liar. So clearly the loss of calcium is not 1,000 milligrams a day. And secondly, meat actually does contain some calcium in a bioavailable form, unlike the plant form, which is usually biochelated with oxalate. That's how the plant prevents you from getting its calcium, among other things. Clever, aren't they, these plants? They don't want us to eat them, unless you're a cow, in which case they do. Well, they don't, but the cows have worked their way around it, haven't they?
Good.
Yes.
Next then.
Yes, Nesta.
Trying. Now that you have tried raw milk and liked it, a few must-ask questions as briefing.
Yes.
Is salt rock? Are you a fucking slave if you eat cooked meat?
Right. No, salt is not rock, and you are not fucking slave if you eat cooked meat. And if you listen to fuckwombles who can't even spell their name using only letters, who think the earth is flat, staring at the sun is a good idea, and it's a real cool thing to do to drink your girlfriend's menses before apparently, allegedly trying to murder her, then you deserve what you get. Really? I think you should probably show a bit more, those of you that do listen to that absolute cunt, I think you should stop. Because the way to stop these cunts from being cunts is to turn your back. It only works if you give them any attention. So stop it.
Stop it.
Stop it. Right.
Lol.
Lol.
Already.
Lol.
How does carnivore affect kidneys?
In the most positive way possible, because it supports your best chance of optimal health, along with the other 4 hacks that you need to know about.
Right. Next.
Yes.
Trying to. What the fuck? Is carnivore diet safe for your heart health long term? Seeing anecdotes heart attacks caused by it. I'm aware they could be lies, and also they lack context and are, of course, anecdotes.
Right. Well, Neve, thanks for the question. Yes, carnivore diet is absolutely safe and effective, as am I. I'm the science. Don't question the science, even though that's how you do science. There is no evidence whatsoever that eating a carnivore diet, cause and effect, has any relation to any health outcome of any negative kind whatsoever. Why would it? That's how we've evolved over, well, it seems like maybe 4.5-5 million years. Anecdotes are just that, they are anecdotes. And, actually the carnivore diet has only really been repopularized in very recent years, say the last decade at most, for most people. And heart disease develops over multiple decades. So in fact, a person having a heart attack today will not be having a heart attack today because of what they ate in the last 10 years. They'll be having a heart attack because of what they ate and other lifestyle factors over the last 30, 40 years for the most part. So to answer your question, Eve, it's absolute nonsense, theology, rubbish, bullshit, and jelly beans. Thank you for the question.
Bullshit and jelly beans?
Yes, bullshit and jelly beans.
Good-o.
It's nonsense.
Right. How much and how often stem enhance should I take daily to max benefits?
Yes.
The label on the bottle says it contains AFA, mesenchymin, spirulina extract, and fucoidan. So maybe European version is different?
There are slight differences in the formulations from territory to territory. Okay, so the mesenchymin is a yellow substance that is what's left behind when they take out the cyactive, which is the blue pigment. So what happens when you mix blue and yellow? You get green. What color is spirulina? Well, there you go. To answer your question in terms of maximizing the benefits, the maximum effective dose of Stem Enhance Ultra is 16 capsules per day, it seems. Beyond which, you can't drive the stem cell release any further, despite taking more than 16, so it becomes a waste after that. It's not that it's unsafe after that, because the level, the allowed level of toxins in the Stem Enhance Ultra product is 17 times lower than what is allowed legally in tap water. So you could take hundreds of them and not expect any negative effect, but you won't get any more effect than you would have got from 16, which you should probably take 4 times 4.
Yes. Super chat.
Super chats.
Been short on super chats today. So thank you very much, Chitin5.
Yes.
Cheers from sunny South Florida.
Hi.
Cheers from sunny Tasman region.
Yes, very sunny in Tasman region today.
Okay, then. What do you think of nutrition scientist Greg Doucette?
Well, number one, Greg Doucette is not a scientist of any kind. He has never produced any science or worked as a scientist. He's never published any works of science. He is not a scientist. The boy has a Wednesday afternoon certificate in bumfuckery.
Maybe he can answer the hemorrhoid question.
He's also an imbecile of the highest order and a moron of the highest order, not to mention being a convicted criminal in terms of illegally importing and keeping large amounts of PEDs in his house. That's what cost him his career as a school teacher, basically. All around piece of shit and not a decent human being at all. Moron, fuck splat, cockwomble, waste of perfectly good oxygen, and one of the most arrogant, ignorant, and offensive individuals going around. I think I've been clear about Greg Douchebag Doucette.
Yes. Is there any reason for a long-term carnivore to supplement creatine?
No, not necessarily.
Right?
Nope.
I like to eat butter off a spoon as a kind of dessert, maybe 1 or 2 or 3. Is it okay to do, or is it very unhealthy?
It's absolutely fine. Butter is fantastic.
Yummy.
Yes, nice. Short chain fatty acids, good.
What's the science behind seed oils being inflammatory? I've seen a couple of influencers saying that the science doesn't show that, Dr. Boss and Jill Carvalho.
Okay, number one, neither of those individuals are scientists. Neither one of them have ever published any science to speak of at all. Gil Carvalho holds a medical degree and a PhD, neither of which he has ever used professionally. In fact, he went straight to being a social media influencer. He is yet another ignorant, arrogant, ill-educated buffoon. And Dr. Boz doesn't impress me particularly either. She holds a medical degree, but not necessarily any background in science whatsoever. I think her heart is in the right place, but she is one of these people who somehow thinks that her level of expertise is a lot more than it actually is. The science behind the inflammatory effect of seed oils is that they upregulate two pro-inflammatory pathways, those being the LOX and the COX. Excuse me. We were walking around in the long grass earlier to set up some poly tape to keep some cows where we want them to be. And we were like, you'd stand on the stalk of the grass and the grass would sway and there's just clouds of pollen coming out of it. Holy shit. Excuse me. I'm surprised you didn't.
Oh, I've been rinsing my nose and taking antihistamines and stuff.
Right, good. See what she does to be able to come and do the show for you, boys and girls? Send us all your money. We will use it for things that are both safe and effective. Yes, safe and effective. Effective and safe.
Yes.
Right, good. We have 200 plus viewers. Hurrah.
Good, isn't it?
Yes. Only we should have 2,000, really, shouldn't we?
Of course. Right, we're done with that one.
I think so, yes. So the science is there is a tendency for seed oils to upregulate two separate pro-inflammatory pathways. Fact.
Yeah, but they also fucking oxidants. They oxidate in your body. That causes inflammation.
Yes.
It's not rocket science.
No, primary and secondary oxidation products can be a real problem.
They're kind of straightforward, I think. So I'm not sure why they can't see it.
These will be people that are looking at studies that haven't found any hard health outcomes of the kind referred to in either human or animal model studies. The problem being a lack of adequate control, confounds, covariates, collinearities.
Fair enough.
But the tendency to upregulate those two pathways is established. So all else being equal.
How long are we going for today?
Another half hour, 29 minutes for our hour and a half slot. Yeah.
So if you want your questions answered, definitely put the super chat in. Otherwise, I'm going to pick and choose a bit now because we have many questions waiting. So I'm going to skip the ones that we have very often.
We have little duckies. I can hear them going squeak, squeak.
I think that's outside burst that you hear.
Anyway, we have duckies. Little duckies.
Little stinky ones.
Cute.
Cute and stinky.
Great.
But why is there a genetic limit of 15% body fat for men? Not everyone, of course. And someone should implement cardio on treadmill or just counting food macronutrients to obtain body fat 10%.
You should not attempt to get your body fat much below 15% as a man. That will cause you to undertake both nutrition and exercise habits which are not conducive to your long-term health. I absolutely advocate against doing it. I think it's very, very stupid, and you should not do it, basically. The set point is around 15%, genetically, ideally for a man. 20 to 25% for a woman.
If you have less, you don't have enough for your hormones to do what they're supposed to be doing. That's why there is a limit.
Yes.
And it's probably fairly similar for most people.
Yeah.
Were you able to recover your intellect after the Vegan Gains interview?
I don't really think the boy had any effect on me at all. He tried to. He did his best. His tactic was to try and piss me off rather than to actually try and engage with the topic that we were talking about. In fact, he tried to go off that topic about 20 times, didn't he? And he wasn't allowed to. So I think I handled it in the only way that you can handle an idiot like that. I hope you all enjoyed it. And those of you that didn't, will get fucked in.
Get fucked in.
Get fucked in.
I'm trying to click this.
Yeah, I see that. It's having it.
So how did the FDA figure the daily value for potassium is 4,700 milligrams? Do we really need that 4,700 milligrams?
Well, here's what they do. The FDA will appoint a chair to a committee, the committee having a role to set forth what they believe is the ideal or the minimum intake for any given thing. In the case of potassium, what happens is the chair then selects a bunch of their mates to sit around the table and agree with them about the number that they're going to pull out of some convenient orifice. Then they're going to write that number down on a piece of paper based on some pretty loose associative work, no actual science of any kind, and report back to the FDA and say, this is the number you should use. No science involved, actually. None whatsoever.
Right, we have a little bit of super chats here. This
Good.
one has been missed. Daisy, the Raynaud bus.
Nice.
Thank you for the $2.99. And Max White. Your wisdom and humor is greatly appreciated. Here's to a future free of
Vacuous turd. Vacuous turd. Yes.
Turds.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much, Max. And we will put that $9.99 to good. Oh, Harry is here.
Yes.
Good morning, Harry Louse. How far art thou? And, are you doing a live stream today? We'll be too busy to watch because we have a farm to run.
We're building a compost.
Yes, indeed.
Sounds like fun. Why not?
Now that I have some fencing pliers, we can do it. And some end cutters.
Goodo. Okay, we had that one.
We did. Very nice.
But we haven't had this one.
Right.
What is the best diet for those with ASD, ADHD?
100% carnivore. Easy.
How many animals do you guys now have on your block? Any plans for getting more?
7, 14, 21, 22, 3, 24 plus 2 dogs.
32. We
Good
also
counting.
have 8 ducklings.
Oh, yes. I forgot the duckling fucklings.
And tomorrow I'm picking up some chickens.
Some chickens.
Either 1 day old or 2 weeks old. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
And we're going to get more chicken eggs in the incubator too. We're going to eat chickens. They are not ruminant animals. And we're going to eat them anyways. Right, so that's the plan.
Yeah.
Pigs will have to wait next year if we're getting any.
Yes.
Right. Question.
Yes.
I have a BMI of over 30, pre-diabetic and prone to get hungry real easy because of my weight. So I eat 4 small meals of protein a day to keep from going hungry. So is it okay, or what would you recommend?
I would recommend that you have a consult with either myself or Her Majesty Pim, Queen of Pirates, regarding your issues, where we can give you personalised answers based on you. Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
It's difficult to give specific advice to somebody without sitting down with them for an hour or so to get the history and work out where they're at. Hello, Professor Fluffy.
Sure, but if you're only eating protein or fat 4 times per day and that works, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yes, if it's working for you, don't fix it. If it's not working for you, then come and talk to us about what needs to be tweaked. Yes.
So why does carnivore diet improve eyesight?
Well, probably because of the lowered level of inflammation, if nothing else.
Yeah, if you have some glaucoma or something, lowered blood pressure could be
yes, good.
That sort of thing.
Yes, like it.
But also general inflammation, I think.
Yeah.
Would consuming cannabis permanently rewire one's brain in some way? Feel different since consuming it? Can stem cells help?
Read the first part. I don't think so. In terms of actual wiring, the connection between neurons, no. As for the second part, stem cells can be helpful in regard to almost any dysfunction of any kind, except those which are genetically predetermined. Stem cells can't affect your gene expression. Well, they can affect your gene expression. They can't affect what genes you have. That's what I should say. Fully laden swallow. Are you fully laden? Yes.
Thank you for the super chat. Your thoughts on appointments of RFK Jr., J. Bhattacharya, how do you say it, and Dr. Oz to Trump's cabinet? Thank you.
RFK, I think, is got his head screwed on mostly. Jay, I'm not particularly au fait with. I haven't really listened to Jay or heard what Jay has to say. And Dr. Oz seems to me to be more of a TV entertainer than anything else. I don't know whether we can be taking Dr. Oz seriously or not. Clearly, Donald Trump thinks that he should be taken seriously. I've really only heard one of those people in any degree or any amount.
Right. Jill made recent videos talking about cholesterol and another one basically defending seed oils. Would you be willing to react to those videos?
I probably will at some point, yeah. I've done Gil Carvalho responses before, and I'll probably do them again because he's absolutely low-hanging fruit. Absolute fucking imbecile. Not the first clue about anything. He knows exactly dick about fuck. Yep.
Good. Thoughts on Brian Johnson and his anti-aging agenda? Seems like he's vegan and looks emaciated.
Yep. The boy's a vegan, ergo an imbecile. Without the first clue of what he's doing. And he spends millions and millions and millions of dollars on attempting to slow his aging, when in fact his diet, which is one of the most important aspects, is designed absolutely to expedite his aging, his crumbling into the dust. And yeah, it's just not an appropriate diet for human beings at all. He needs to wake up to himself.
Okay.
Good.
Please explain acidosis of the blood.
Doesn't happen until you are nigh unto death. And what I mean by that is you will die within a few minutes if you actually do get an acidotic derangement of your blood. It's nonsense. In the normal course of events, it does not occur.
Just to shout out for Harry.
There you go.
Yes, doing live streams at Professor Bart K main channel.
Only that's him saying,
Yes,
responding to me. He's not doing it at my channel,
No.
live streams. He's doing it on his channel, which is called Harry Sopanos,
Yes,
the no bullshit channel.
exactly.
Yes.
Okay, so if you lose weight with 6,000 calories on carnivore, is carnivore bad for weight gaining? How would you do it?
The gain or loss of weight is not determined by the number of heat units you claim to be consuming at all. The gain or loss of weight is under the control of your hormones, your inflammasome, your endocrine system, etc. Heat units have nothing whatever to do with it at all. Zero to do with it. And carnivore can be great for weight gaining if that's what you're trying to achieve and you are training to do so, depending on what you mean by weight. Because weight can be water, skeletal mass, muscle mass, fat mass, because that all adds up to what your weight is, doesn't it? Good.
Okay, so apparently 2 years from now you will end up with only ducks. What, are they going to eat the chickens?
Or because ducks are so much better than chickens, apparently, in some way.
Yeah.
Maybe we will.
But they are messy.
Maybe we will, Ed Lashen. Don't know.
We need to sort the fucking pond out.
Yeah, we had a pond, only now it's dry, so I don't know what we're going to do.
Okay, what's better, Angus or Holstein Belgian mix?
Well, we've got Angus. Yeah, good question. What's better for what?
And for whom?
For whom? According to whom? On the basis of what? Good question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be able to tell you because I don't think I've eaten a Holstein Belgian mix.
Yes. Just ask your questions once, Daisy, because otherwise Pim gets pissed off. Yeah. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but it wasn't her asking about
was it not?
Thingy Bingy. And
okay.
No.
Good. In that case, I take it all back.
Yeah.
My apologies. Can I please explain acidosis?
The other one was specifically about acidosis in the blood, I think.
Okay. Can I explain acidosis? Yes, I can. I've got a series of videos which I've started to make, and I stopped making because nobody fucking watched them. But you can make a start on understanding acidosis and how it doesn't exist in the human body, except when you are about to die and your body has given up on homeostatic mechanisms. You can start to get a grip on that by watching those first two videos. And maybe I'll make the third one and possibly a fourth one at some point if I get enough views on the first two suddenly, because you've all watched today's video and gone, we need to go and watch that. Yes.
Okay, then.
Good.
Thanks for the plug. You're welcome.
You're welcome, Herilos. You're welcome.
So, the calorie experiments in 1919 determined the energy used by each individual by measuring the heat generated by their bodies. How does it make any sense?
It doesn't at all.
Okay. That was that.
It makes no sense. It's not based on even first principles of science. It's just rubbish. Please tell me, anybody, what is the rest mass of the electromagnetic field? 0. Okay, we're done.
We're done.
Yeah. So it cannot affect your weight, or your mass, or your body composition. And energy is a construct. It's an idea. It's the thing that we invoke and use to explain the physical phenomena that we see.
Right, next one then.
Yeah, go on.
When's the next video reacting to sugary saladino?
Sometime when I can be asked.
Greetings, I switched to carnivore 5 months ago overnight. I feel great since then. Stopped smoking everything shortly after. One thing, I wake up at 2 o'clock every night. And what could that be?
It's quite normal in the first year or so of going carnivore, especially if you switch straight over without doing a slide into it, that there can be sleep disturbances. Oh! What did you just do? I can't see what you just did.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's quite normal. It'll stabilize. It'll settle at some point.
Do you have this one?
No, not today.
How did I miss that? Why do we get cramping? Chafee says it's hydration and we should aim for 3 liters of water per day, which seems a lot.
It really depends on where you are individually in terms of your fitness, your metabolism, where you are in the world at the time, all of those things. I wouldn't like to impose a goal for consuming water. I would never say to a person should drink 3 liters of water a day.
Can I have a little bit of space here?
I don't.
I get very wet socks.
I don't think that's. I don't think that's good at all. Mostly, cramping is usually about magnesium before anything else. Mostly, rather than water anyway. So I'm not sure that Chafee did say that, or if so, was there more to the whole idea than just that?
Maybe he's talking about cell hydration rather than
maybe,
which has a lot to do with your mineral status. Should removing coffee from the diet be of similar importance to removing ingested carbohydrates? Thank you.
No, I think removing carbohydrates is vastly more important in general than removing coffee, personally. Although coffee should go at some point, or at least be, limited.
I don't know. You want to answer that one? Also, which carbs causes the least glycation damage?
In terms of what? You mean if you talk an even amount of different carbs, which one would be the least damaging? Hard to say. Fructose would be about the worst, probably. I can tell you that much.
Okay, so if you lose weight with 6,000 calories on carnivore, is carnivore bad for weight? We had that one.
We did have that one, yes.
Bye. Where are we then? Not there.
No.
And we did.
I think we're nearing the end of our attention span and such, aren't we?
And we had that one.
And that one, and that one, and that one, yes. It's this jumping chat window thing that's the problem, I think.
I once heard a theory that Eskimos consume 10 to 20% of their calories. Please don't eat my liver for this word. From carbs in the form of undecayed glycogen from the meat. Thoughts?
It's entirely possible that 10 to 20% of what they're taking in is glycogen, yes. And no, not calories. And I won't eat your liver.
Okay, so Is it bad to eat half an ounce of liver a day, and why?
Depends on how you respond to that individually and whether or not that causes a problem for you in terms of the most likely problem is copper toxicity if there's going to be one. The exact daily
Half
requirement...
an ounce is fuck all though.
Yes, but the exact daily requirement for liver is none at all ever.
None at all ever.
And it's not a superfood. Those of you, people that say liver is a superfood, no, it isn't. There's no such thing as a superfood. Right.
Okay. Shortly after drinking hydrogenated water, I noticed a slight pain in my shoulder joint. Could this be a sign of healing, or could it indicate the opposite?
I've got no idea. No idea at all. Why would you drink hydrogenated water?
I don't know. It's probably heavy in deuterium. Can you compare and contrast oxidation and glycation caused by exogenous carbs?
I'm not sure what your question is. They're words. Compare and contrast? Well, compare what and contrast what? Oxidation and glycation? Well, oxidation is caused by oxidating agents, not by carbs necessarily.
I think we hit the end.
Did we?
Yes.
Excellent. Good.
Yes.
With 10 minutes to spare. Excellent. Well, that just leaves one thing to do, of course, and that is to sing the national anthem together of the independent sovereign nation of PimBartia, which goes a little bit something like this. Steak and eggs and eggs and steak. That's what you should have for your breakfast. Delicious. Eggs and steak and steak and eggs. Just making sure you heard. I think they heard.
I think they heard.
Very good. All right, join us next time when there'll be more questions and stuff.
See you then.